Here we are. The announcement this morning, you will be a Formula One driver in 2021 and beyond. How excited are you?
Very excited. I mean, obviously it's a dream come true, really. It's something I've been chasing for, well, really since I'm like 5 years old, so really childhood, and the day's finally here is just overwhelming, really.
What kind of a driver would you describe yourself as? What's your style? What's your hallmark as a racer?
Lights out at Monza, and F2 is underway with a poor getaway for Luca Giotto. That's going to give a chance to drivers behind, including Mick Schumacher, who's immediately up there. Lundgaard trying to pressure on the inside, Tsunoda dropping back. Schumacher's got up to second position. Mick Schumacher wins for the first time in 2020. Now, the battle for the lead with Yuki Tsunoda trying to keep Schumacher behind. Schumacher with the championship to think about though, and he's got DRS. He's round the outside. We've not seen anyone pull off a move there today, but as he forces his rival deep, what a super move from Mick Schumacher. We're on board with Mick Schumacher, who comes across the line to win at Sochi with a brilliant drive. He's thinking about it. How much is he prepared to risk? He won't have been in this part of the racetrack all weekend long, but Schumacher keeps his foot to the floor and takes 9th place. Mick Schumacher crosses the line to win the Formula 2 Championship of 2020. And if you watch today because of the father, Mick's driving this year has ensured that the next chapter will be written by the son.
I don't get too many things right, but it's fair to say I was very, very right about Mick Schumacher. It really is time for the Jeremy Clarkson smug face. My reaction when Mick crossed the line to win the title? I was pretty relaxed, to be honest.
Yes!
So I thought today we would reflect on Mick Schumacher's championship winning F2 season. That sounds so good, doesn't it? And what we can look forward to from him in Formula 1 next year, where he will be driving for the Haas F1 team. When I made that first video on Mick Schumacher, he was 4th in the championship, and while he still hadn't won a race, he was being very consistent and staying in the championship fight. And then, at the very next race after that video, in Monza, he won. From 7th on the grid, he got one of his signature lightning starts to get up to 2nd by the very first corner, and then took the lead after Callum Ilott stalled his car in the pits. It was just a sign of things to come from Schumacher, as he took the championship lead at Mugello and won again at Sochi in a feature race. A race where Mick pulled off one of the moves of the season on Yuki Tsunoda, and his biggest achievement of that race? Making Sochi actually look exciting. After a 2-month break, F2 came back for the final 2 rounds of the season at Bahrain, with Mick having a 22-point lead over Callum Ilott in the standings. Ilott had arguably been the faster driver on pure pace throughout the season, but was not as consistent and made more mistakes than Schumacher. Mick went from 10th to 4th in the feature race, but in a sprint race didn't have all that much pace, and with Ilott right behind and having finished 2nd in race 1, it looked like there would be another championship swing. But then, this happened.
Oh no! Callum Ilott hits Jane Deruvala, spins him round, and Ilott has damaged the front of the car to cause chaos behind, but that could be a pivotal moment in the championship.
Ilott finished out of the points, but Mick only managed to finish 7th with 2 points, so the championship would go on to the final round of the season, still at Bahrain, but this time on the outer circuit, where lap times would be considerably shorter. The qualifying session was carnage, with Schumacher down in 18th after colliding with Roy Nissany at the end of the session, and Ilott, who had consistently been the best qualifier of the year, down in 9th. But what followed next day was a drive fitting of a champion, where Mick went from 18th on the grid to 7th, with some incredible overtakes on the way. He finished 1 place behind Callum and got the 2 points for fastest lap, which meant that he scored the exact same amount of points, and they would both be promoted to 5th and 6th after Schumacher's F1 teammate next year, Nikita Mazepin, was penalised for this masterpiece. For the final race of the season, Schumacher started 3rd with Ilott 4th. Mick had a 14-point gap, which meant as long as Ilott didn't win or come 2nd, he would be champion no matter what. But he made life very hard for himself, having a big lock-up at turn 4, which gave his tyre a very big flat spot. Mick defended brilliantly against Ilott behind, but eventually just couldn't hold on and had to come into the pits. But Callum's tyres had gone after pushing to try and get past, and he plummeted down the order all the way to 10th, out of the points. So although Mick Schumacher crossed the line in 18th position, he was still the 2020 FIA Formula 2 champion. And it's thoroughly deserved. The best driver won, and now we can look at what is to come in Formula 1 from for Mick Schumacher. He'll very likely be at the back of the grid in an uncompetitive Haas, but he can still prove what he can do. In the past with F3 and F2, it has taken him a season to get used to the championship, and then in the second season, he's unstoppable. What he needs to try and do in F1 though is get used to the championship and cars much quicker. He has already beaten his teammate Nikita Mazepin in F2 this year, but to do it as well in F1 is even more important. And finally, he needs to learn. He has a great mentor in Sebastian Vettel, who has said that he will help Mick in any way he can, just like Michael did for him, and use this advice to try and propel himself and Haas higher up the grid. So that was a look back at Mick Schumacher's 2020 Formula 2 season, how he went from underrated to a champion, and a look forward at his 2021 Formula 1 season with Haas. Thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, I would really appreciate it if you gave this video a like and subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I will see you soon. Until next time, goodbye.